Next, page 4. Tzom Gedalia is one of the 4 fasts mentioned in Navi. Tzom Shvi'i. Right? So the pasuk, says that there are these 4 tzomot. The pasuk in Zechariah. Kol Amar Hashem Tzvakot Tzom Revi'i, Tzom Chamishi, Tzom Shvi'i, Tzom Asiri, and those correspond to the 4 what are called minor fasts, not Tanit Esther, which has its own background, but the fasts that are associated with Korban Beit HaMikdash, essentially. So while the other 3 fasts commemorate major catastrophes that affected the nation as a whole, I would be more specific than that, affected specifically Beit HaMikdash at different stages of the destruction. The murder of Gedalia occurred after most of the nation was exiled and when only a small remnant remained in Eretz Yisrael. What is it about Tzom Gedalia that puts it on par with the other 3 fasts? Well, this is a straight Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, where it basically asks this question. Tzom HaShvi'i zeh shlosha b'Tishrei. So what is Tzom HaShvi'i? It's the 3rd of Tishrei. Tzom Gedalia shebo ne'era Gedalia ben Achikam. Umi hargo, who killed him? Ishmael ben Netanyah hargo. You know, this whole thing is sort of like Shlomit Badivri. In other words, like who was the Makalel, who was his mother's name, etc. So we're identifying the person who murdered him. L'lamedcha sheshkula mitatan shel tzadikim kesreifat beit Elokein. So there's the moral that the death of a tzaddik, this isn't just the death of a tzaddik, it's the murder of a tzaddik, is equivalent to the destruction of the temple, which is quite a profound statement. In other words, that this individual represented a certain thing, had a certain approach to life, and by destroying him, it's equivalent to destroying Beit HaMikdash. The Maharsha, who has, there are 2 sections to his commentary. There's Chidushei Halacha and Chidushei Agadah. So this is from Chidushei Agadah, where he deals with the Agadic sections of the Talmud. He writes like this: Umi hargo Yishmael ben, etc. So Lamar Shelo Yikshelecha Keva the Mitat Tzadikim Shkula Kedemasik B'Nechashiv LeVahanach Tzomot L'Chach Kavu Botzom Im Kain. So now he says, well, you might ask the following: Gam B'Shar Tzadikim Shemeitu Yikvu Botzom. Well, based on that, I would fast every day. Just like some people have the practice never say Tachanun, because you don't say Tachanun when a great man died. Good. So every day of the year somebody must have died. So therefore, I never say Tachanun. So here I say, well, I have to have a fast when a great man died. Okay, I fast all the time. I mean, it's a reductio ad absurdum issue. So the imkain ein lecha yom sheb'shana shelo yeh bo tzom shemet bo tzadik. You'll never have a day without this. Ukamar dal korcha yatsa yom harigat Gedalia ben min haklal. You have to say something was special about Gedalia's assassination. Otherwise, the question's a good one. Lefi shargo Yishmael ben Netanyah sha'al yidei kain yatsu kol ha'am me'eretz Yisrael u'Mitzrayim. This wasn't just killing somebody. This basically, was the Makav Patish, was the final hammer blow on the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. Originally, the Babylonians had left a Sherita Plita in Israel, but once Gedalia was killed, we said that's the end of that. And lots more people were killed, and lots more people were carried off. So it was a significant kind of a thing in Jewish history. Nevertheless, since I see that it's mentioned in the same breath as those fasts that deal with the destruction of the temple, it's impossible. I mean, it almost sounds like, yeah, you're right, we should have a fast every day, but come on. I mean, who's going to be able to tolerate, something like that? I had the same question when I started to make tshuva. You're only supposed to do tshuva 10 days a year. But if you would have the responsibility to do tshuva, if you have the responsibility to do tshuva every day of the year, you'll blow your fuses. In other words, you won't.
Very funny.
There's another issue, which I may be getting ahead of the game here, but Tzom Gedalia, if it's equated to Korban Beit HaMikdash, right, then why are we not with other Inuyim?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that there's a limit to how much we can impose and how many times we can say to people that they have to really suffer this way. Quite frankly, having 2 days of Rosh Hashanah and then going into Tzom Gedalia, I think, is an Inui in itself. That it just seems very intense, and I think it's meant to be intense in terms of a certain Yimei Tshuva. But yesh gvul. I always like to say that halacha has its feet on the ground. It's not intended to keep on pounding away. There's a limit. At a certain point in time, people will react negatively, and I think that even though logically speaking we could understand why perhaps we should intensify the experience, it might be a case of diminishing returns at a certain point. Anyway, so that's the Marsha's explication of why Tzom Gedalia has a special status.